A study was performed in which a group of fleas were placed in a jar with a glass lid, preventing them from jumping to their full height. Now, after several weeks, the lid was lifted from the jar, but generation upon generation later, the fleas continued to jump no higher than the height of the jar. They have made our jars slightly bigger. They, politicians, con artists, mumbling muffled promises of domestic change that always sound like foreign policy. Man, I don't want to hear another State of the Union address that don't address the state of communion in my address. Only time a president makes change in my community is when it's 5 Jacksons making change for a Benjamin at the check cash in next door to the liquor store, next door to the church, next door to the liquor store, next door to the church, which are all scheduled to be purchased, the redlining of small jars to make space for Walmart. They, corporate vampires, bellies engorged on our blood. They, immigrants from every shore, taunting us to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, knowing slavery has ensured our bare feet. They, the government, the system, the man, so many names, but one objective: to hold a brother back, to keep a brother down. They lock us in transparent cages, paint the sky gold, and place glass lids above us. We leap, smash face against a lid, and we bruise. We leap, employment discrimination, mass incarceration, election fraud, and we bruise. We leap, Emmett Till, Sean Bell, Breonna Taylor, and we bruise. And now, we don't leap no more. We, offspring of oppression, lid or no lid, we assume glass ceiling, no longer need to be oppressed. We don't leap no more. We hold a brother back. We keep a brother down. The presidents who don't speak for us, perhaps the result of the local candidates we fail to speak for. We find it easier to sit in our transparent jars and bark with vengeance the word immigrant or corporation or politician or other than the word self. Fingers outstretched, assigning blame. It exerts less collective effort to complain outside of voting booths while never walking in, leaving rich old men to continue to vote for rich old men, leaving ballots filled with representatives who don't represent our skin, leaving us 4 years later with the same complaints again. See, we too have a dream, but won't make it a reality. We have seen the promised land, but won't keep the promise. We have been to the mountaintop, but we forgot what we were taught. We forgot to preach from it, to teach from it, to lift up others who also seek summits. So inevitably, we plummet. And yet, we, resilient, we, remarkable, have still managed to pull ourselves up by slippery, barbed-wired, booby-trapped bootstraps, time after struggle, after movement, after election, after time, so that now, not only do so many of us have boots and are wearing boots, but hell, look down. They are probably designer engraved on imported suede, custom made by incarcerated slaves, too often paid for with money spent ahead of education, community, investments, or rent. And trust me, I am not here to preach to you, because I am probably wearing them too. But let us speak truth for a moment. At the end of the day, when do we begin to ask ourselves, exactly who is they?